for the slight delay. Are we good to record?
Yes.
Good to go? As usual, we're on live streaming on our YouTube channel, and we remind people that they can participate in that way as well as go back and watch if they would like to. So we appreciate all the technology that helps us out today. We'll begin our meeting today with our invocation, which thankfully was recently just accepted by my daughter, Kaden. She probably won't come anymore now that we've learned that she will say yes. So we apologize. We're excited to
Was
have
that
her.
yes?
That was a
He
yes.
threatened her. I mean, basically,
That's coercion.
yes.
It was a yes. So we appreciate her. Kaden Bradford will give our invocation. Pledge of Allegiance by Sylvia Salisbury. Thought of the Day by Commissioner Ebert. Kaden, come up to the microphone.
Our Father in heaven, we're so thankful for this day. We're thankful for all of our many blessings, and we're thankful for the chance that we have to be at commission meeting today. And please bless us to be able to be safe, that the commissioners will be able to make good decisions for our county. And we love the Lord so very much. And we say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
We have a long agenda, so I will have a very short thought. Be selective in your battles. Sometimes peace is better than being right.
Very good, Commissioner.
Was that pointed at me?
Negative.
Was that pointed at me? Okay, just wondering.
My wife picked it out.
Was that pointed at the sheriff? I don't know. So I was just wondering.
That's a good possibility.
Yeah, okay. I get it.
I don't know if it was pointed at me or not, but point well taken. Thank you. I appreciate that thought. It was a good one. Okay, we'll move to this is the fun part of the agenda. This is our presentations. This is a great tradition that we have here, and we're just excited about it. We have a couple of employees that we have the opportunity to honor today, and it's always with great pleasure that we do this. I don't know who nominated these two. Probably tell me a little later as I read, but my only regret is that I didn't get a chance to do it first. I walk into my office somewhat. It's quite early sometimes, and run into these two, and I'm telling you, they are just they make the day go good right from the beginning. They never miss an opportunity to tell me good morning and thank me for my service, and really it's me that owes them the great debt of gratitude. They do a tremendous job taking pride in what they do, and I'm going to read this little nomination on these two, and then we'll have them come up and give them a little bit of thanks.
Could I say something really quick? This morning we had an early meeting, and Commissioner Gibson looked at me and said, "Well, where should we meet?" I said, "Well, we better meet in your office, because my office is a disaster. I had left last night and there was stuff everywhere." And he said, "Okay." And I walked to my office and it was spotless. I was like, holy mackerel, they must have been here for an hour. They must have wandered around thinking, what does this guy do all day long? And so just today I was just like, I walked out and I was like, wow. And then to find them here today was apropos.
All right. So I may slaughter your names. Forgive me if I do. But Esperanza Tovar and Maria Baltazar have been selected for this quarter's Seal of Service Award. Both individuals were hired by Weber County as custodial workers. The Weber Center is very lucky to have such hard workers. Below are some comments about these two amazing individuals. The human resource offices have not looked this good for ages. Have anything to do with the director? I don't know. Anyway.
Did he move out of that office?
They not only dust and vacuum, but they clean all of the office surfaces, doors, file cabinets, walls, We've also noticed that they are in constant motion and always cleaning something. They've started to clean each of the restrooms daily on every floor. It is so nice to walk in and the rooms not only look clean but smell clean. They clean the staircases, the hallways, the steps, and the glass surfaces on the exterior doors to the parking terrace. We think it is important to let employees know when they do an exceptional job, and we appreciate their efforts. The second one is by a different person. It says, I feel that these two have gone above and beyond their duties to take pride in keeping the Weber Center immaculate. I have watched them dust the foot bottoms of the chairs in the commission chambers, to picking up the leaves outside the front doors. I know they have gone as far as using a small brush and was on their hands and knees scrubbing bathroom floors trying to get the dirt from the grout. These ladies take a great deal of pride in their job, and I can quote them saying, if you're going to do it, you might as well do it right. I think I've heard that one too. We've enjoyed visiting with them and love seeing their enthusiasm and gratefulness for the jobs that they always compliment how great the staff here at the Weber Center treats them compared to the other places that they've worked. These two ladies from the time they arrive to work to the time they go home are busy giving us a clean place to work. I appreciate all of their work, and that's why I believe that they deserve the seal of service. I think that there's probably about 600 or 700 other of those comments in the queue. I'm only going to read those two, but Esperanza and Maria, I just want to tell you thank you from my perspective and from the bottom of my heart. I truly am grateful for the positive attitude in which you accomplish your sometimes very difficult job, and I want to let you know how much of a difference it truly makes in what we're able to do as we represent the citizens of Weber County. So thank you very much. We appreciate you. We recognize your service. We're just so grateful for all that you do.
So I'm kind of a little bit of a junk collector. And I get these little statues, or people bring them to me when they go on vacation, or somebody will drop one off. And the other day, somebody dropped me off one to add to my office. And my wife said, I'm sure glad you take everything to your office, because who gets to dust all that stuff? I'm sorry, ladies. I never thought about that. And I said, I don't know. They're always dusted. They're always clean. They always look good. So I appreciate what you do, and I'll try to resist on people giving me little junk things, or I'll put them in my drawer so you don't have to dust them. We appreciate what you do. You do such a great job. There's not a morning I don't come in that you do phenomenal. Because as Commissioner Ebert says, we sometimes get out of here late and stuff's been thrown in the air on our way out the door, and when we come in the morning, the only better thing is maybe you could help us do our work during the day. So thank you. We appreciate it.
So we have these nice plaques for you. We hope that you'll display them somewhere that you can recognize them for what they really mean to us. Something that's prominent, that you, hopefully you appreciate this as much as we mean it.
You gave them something at home to dust, didn't you?
Yeah, we did.
Way to go. I mean, now you want to get away from that when they get home, and now you're making them work.
And maybe more important than the plaque are these
Oh, no, that's
$100 bills, all right? One for each of you, and we hope that you can put those to good use during the Christmas season. And a cute little pin. Not sure what it says, but it's cute. All right? Come on up.
Oh, you should be nervous for us. Come on up, right here. We want you to stand right here in the middle.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wonderful. Let's see. Here, I'm gonna let you hold the $100 bill, because you get to keep it. I'm never touching it. Hold that. Thank you. You gotta get that $100 bill out where they can. That's better than the plaque, isn't it?
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Congratulations.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
You guys are
Thank you,
great.
thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, sorry. I'm sorry.
We'll give him a hand.
Telling you, the best part is that as good as they are, there's an awful lot more of them. We have some great employees at Weaver County. It's a great place to work. All right, we'll move on then to our business. First is our consent items. Item number 1 is a request for approval of purchase orders in the amount of $165,459.46. Request for approval of warrants number 327278 through 327552 in the amount of $717,249.76. Request for approval of minutes for the meeting held on November 24th of 2015. Request for approval of a severance benefit agreement by and between Weaver County and Ginny Simpson. Request from the Tax Review Committee to approve their recommendation to deny previous year's primary residential status for the following properties: Lance Bodie, parcel 22-058-0005. Scott and Gina Russell, parcel number 20-098-0004. And Penny and Randy LaRose, parcel number 20-107-0002. Request from the Clerk Auditor's Elections Office for approval to surplus some ballot boxes. Request from the Operations Department for approval of a contract by and between Weaver County and Merwin Holgate for the purchase of property for a public road, parcel number 15-240-0004. And finally, number 8, a request from the Operations Department for approval of a contract by and between Weaver County and Hiram Hardcastle Enterprises for the sale of surplus property. All right, Commissioners, are there any concerns before we go to Ricky? Anything you want to pull off and debate off the consent calendar?
Ballot boxes?
How do you wear those out,
How do
Ricky?
people vote then?
Those are the old-fashioned metal ones. We farmed them out to schools and political parties, and we just have so many left over from years gone by. It's
Oh,
time.
you'll keep some, but you
Yeah.
can get rid of some.
Yeah.
That'll be
we
a hot
had
item.
we had a couple hundred.
Wow. They could be antiques one day.
That's right.
Okay, give us a rundown, Ricky, on the check runs this week.
For purchase orders this week, we had 32 of them for $165,000. And half of that, or 51%, about $84,000 of that, is for the jail for a new dishwasher. 23% or $37,000 was for the sheriff for body cameras. 7% or $12,000 is for the library, and that was split up among various different purchases. 6% or $11,000 went for the landfill, and that was for rubber edges for equipment. Even though it was a short week, last week we issued 275 checks for $717,000. 1/3 of that amount, or $240,000, was escrow, a couple of escrow releases for Summit Mountain, and that was for the months of September through November. 15% or $105,000 went to the paramedic, for the paramedic fund, and that was for a new vehicle and a vehicle remount. 12% or $85,000 is for Weaver Housing Authority, and that was primarily for monthly payments and the down payment assistance program. 9% or $67,000 went to employee medical reimbursement, daycare reimbursement, and coordination of benefits. And then final 9% or $63,000 was for life insurance premiums for employees. That's it.
Okay.
Real quickly, we do have a surplus property at number 8, and we have reviewed that, and it's a very long, narrow strip of property that really holds no value to us commercially. It's one of those oddities we have with the surveying. So we found really no need or value of it from a county perspective, so that's the purpose of surplusing it. As FYI.
So Commissioner Bell and I were just snickering here for a minute, just because I just got a text from my wife that I will just say that whatever she told me made it clear that she's paying attention to this meeting. And so it kind of freaked me out a little bit.
And there's 3 people watching, and so we know she's one.
There's 6
so there's
now.
2
There's
more. Is there
6.
6? Oh, there's 6.
And
yeah.
just for full disclosure, the reason that I read my thought of the day was at her request.
You just never know, never know. All right, back to our consent items. Any other questions or comments? If not, some action.
I'll make a motion, we adopt the consent items as read.
I second it.
Okay, motion and a second then that we approve and adopt those consent items. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? It passes. Thank you. This is always a good time for us in our action items. We always enjoy hearing from Sarah. Come on up. And item number 1 is the presentation and/or discussion on the 2016 Ogden Weber Convention and Visitors Bureau Marketing Plan. Sarah Tolliver, welcome to the microphone. You still have to tell us who you are.
Thank you, Commissioners. I'm Sarah Tolliver with the Ogden Weber Convention and Visitors Bureau. I appreciate the opportunity every year to present, do a little bit of a review of the current year and also present to you our marketing plan for the next year.
Go ahead.
Hi. I know this is a little repetitive for a couple of you, but again, appreciate the opportunity and the support of all of you. Thank you. Okay, great. In 2014, just to review, because I know each of you understands and appreciates the importance of tourism in our community, but in 2014, tourism accounted for approximately 8,500 jobs, $70 million in visitor spending in Weber County, which generated nearly $4.5 million in tourism tax revenue, and we anticipate that number to be much higher this year. The hospitality community in Weber County really is second to none, and I want to thank them, you, and our team for their continual hard work and unwavering passion for this community. We lost it. Okay, perfect. As you can see, these are some of our key performance indicators for 2015, and each of them are up again this year. Just some highlights, we're up 17% in our transient room tax collection, as well as our Ogden Eccles Conference Center revenue increases, and our restaurant taxes increased by 10%. So you can see some significant increases across the board there. Our sales team continues to pound the pavement and sell this community as a premier meetings destination. You can see in your full report some of the highlights that we consider our achievements, but they really are just some of the highlights. It would be impossible to quantify or list the countless hours spent on the numerous smaller meetings that come to our destination. I get asked a lot, what's next? Because of course everyone loves the big, sexy, citywide events, but it's really all these collaboration of these smaller events that fit our community and our conference center the best and overall have the greatest impact. Another significant impact has been the addition of our marketing team. Not only do they support the sales team in their efforts, but they provide a continual presence and voice for our destination. One of our primary challenges continues to be awareness and exposure of our destination. We're getting there in regards to our reputation as an events destination, especially with cycling events. But as far as meetings and convention and leisure travel, we still have a lot of work to do. The marketing team is helping us get there. This year, we were able to forge partnerships with all three of our ski resorts for what we're calling the Ski 3 package. We feel like the community's been waiting for this for a long time, the hospitality community. This is a package that will allow our visitors who are staying 2 or more nights to ski all 3 resorts for a great price. The platform that we invested in to execute this campaign will also give us the opportunity to package a number of different attractions and opportunities over time as we see how it works in future years. Our social media presence continues to grow with strategic messaging and timing, and we've been able to help support the community and our meetings industry by producing event-specific websites for those significant CVB partnered events. So now to look forward to next year, we are always working to become more and more strategic in our approaches to capture and fulfill the demands of our ever-changing marketplace. For the first time this year, we executed strategic market research initiatives to better understand our visitors and their ever-changing and increasing demands in what is a very competitive marketplace. We are now able to analyze and utilize this data in the context of new travel and meeting trends. Our overlying objectives are as follows: selling the destination. It's our job to be the storyteller, to curate the content and paint the picture of our destination for meeting planners and visitors. To promote our destination, in our effort to tell the story, we continue to refine the palette and develop the tools necessary to tell the compelling story. These tools are everything from photography and video assets and collateral, as well as the quality and quantity of lodging, attractions, restaurants, and other entertainment. We also advocate for economic development through tourism. There's a great study out by Longwoods International that talks about the benefits of creating a singular place brand through destination marketing and economic development. The study provided data to support the notion that the two benefit each other, with 18,000 consumers responding, telling that in every case, tourism advertising by a destination and subsequent visitation significantly improved the image of that destination, not just as a place to visit, but also for a wide range of other economic development objectives. Oops, sorry, I went too fast. But developing the destination, we need to work to fill in those blank spaces and the missing pieces to improve the experience for each and every one of our visitors. These high-level objectives don't tend to change much year over year, as they remain our core goals and objectives to provide value to our community. However, as our world continues to change and evolve, the strategies and tactics we employ to achieve these results are constantly in motion, and we continually and constantly analyze, review, and evaluate what we feel will give us the greatest results. This slide shows our three primary target audiences, which tend to overlap in our objectives, but always come back to one of the three. Group business. We've talked about the challenges associated with counting room nights endlessly, but a new joint study released in August by a collaboration of very highly respected industry organizations finally put some numbers to this obstacle. According to the study, 1 in 3 group room nights in the U.S. are booked outside the block. A third of all these room nights. That's pretty significant impact when you look at our numbers. In knowing this, and as we reach our room night goals, that 10% is exponentially increasing our goal numbers. However, we're committed to the challenge and will increase our goals by 10% for 2016 over year-end actuals in 2015. So we anticipate that number to be approximately 15,500 room nights. Our goals for OEC revenue are the same 10% increase, which puts our assumptive goal at $1.1 million. The first time in history for the CVB will be at over $1 million. In order to attempt to successfully and completely demonstrate the demand and impact the group business has on our destination, we will also be reporting on event attendance and economic impact generated. You can see all the number of strategies and tactics we will employ in the marketing plan you've been given, but a couple of the highlights include our national, regional, and endemic trade show attendance. We're excited about the opportunity Salt Lake's hosting the American Society of Association Executives in 2016, which is a group of meeting planners from all over the world and is really a great opportunity to expose our destination to them. Endemic shows also give us access to these outdoor associated companies where we are more widely known and can expand our opportunities with them. Enhanced relationships with our county venues and sales teams will also provide additional support and opportunities in the coming year. And we continue to increase our expectations and execution of our convention services, with Tiffany now focusing on this full time. These efforts aid us tremendously in our rebooking efforts. For leisure travel, our key performance indicators are overall increases in transient room tax collection, increases in out-of-state skier days, public relations exposure, unique visitors to our website, and increases to our social media fans and engagement. We continue to utilize our research to execute these marketing strategies and campaigns to our targeted markets in Southern California, Phoenix, the Northwest, and our drive markets. We will engage in Ogden City's branding process and work for continual enhancement to our websites, Visit Ogden and SkiOgden.com, and our social media channels. And we'll also increase our weekend occupancy through our Ski 3 promotion and summer events. And finally, we'll formulate a local cooperative partnership to execute a Wasatch Front marketing campaign. All have recognized this as an area of extreme need, but we haven't been able to make it a priority due to our heads and beds measurable and our out-of-state marketing budget allocations. By increasing the scope of our measurables regarding our effectiveness and forging new public and private partnerships, we can target the millions of available and potential visitors along the Wasatch Front. This campaign is vital for both destination awareness and economic development initiatives. Local community objectives have two meanings for us. One, using the Bureau as a resource, which we know our community does, for event information and other community information. We continue to accomplish this goal through same or similar strategies and tactics we use for our out-of-area visitors. The second target for this objective is to strengthen and grow our partnerships as it in turn relates to our presence and advocacy for what we do. By continuing to demonstrate our value and economic impact to Weber County, its cities, and the hospitality community, we hopefully help alleviate some of the advocacy challenges the industry faces, including political pressures, budgetary constraints, and a diverse and complex list of stakeholders, all of whom wonder what's been done for them lately. By fostering collaborations, connections, and alignment with other organizations, we can continue to demonstrate the relevance of our efforts and showcase our destination product to the world. Destination development objectives would make all of the other pieces possible. We need to be a leader in this area, whether it's connecting our visitors to our attractions and assets, such as the ski bus and much needed airport transportation, having a voice in short-term rental discussions, assisting in airline recruitment efforts, or making recommendations for the sunsetting of the conference center bond payment and the forthcoming availability of the restaurant tax. We will continue to provide a destination voice to that discussion.
Can I
Yeah.
interrupt really quick? You went back to airports. What did you say on airports?
Just working with to help recruit airlines to the
Commercial, okay. Thank you.
We're also, in 2016, a countywide wayfinding task force has already been assembled, and we will continue to work to get that program in place next year. And just finally, internal objectives. The team that we have is the best asset we can offer. Continued development opportunities and certifications will continue to keep our team on the forefront of trends and opportunities in the industry. As a team, we sit on the boards and or numerous committees for each of these organizations listed here. We offer them and our hospitality community a huge thank you for all they do in making this community a destination of choice. In closing, I just want to express our sincere thanks to our public and private partners who continually increase their expectations of us, push us to the next levels, and in turn do their part to make this community a destination of choice. I also want to make sure I acknowledge that it is truly every city, town, person, and asset in this county that makes this community the destination it is. But just has been evidenced with the state's Mighty Five campaign or any shopping district in the world, you have to promote your anchor tenant and those unique experiences that no one else can provide, and know that the rising tide lifts all the ships. With that said, we renew our commitment to you to continue to be nimble, gritty, and on the cutting edge of tourism destination development, marketing, and management for the best return to Weber County. And I'm happy to answer any questions about any of it.
Breathe.
You have a full agenda trying to get through that.
What's wrong with that picture?
It's a little female heavy.
Oh, it's guy in the middle, so that's an amazing team.
He's outnumbered.
We just need to talk to Anissa.
Appreciate what you're doing. Come a long way. We got a lot of people coming here and they love it once they get here. We just
Yes,
got to
they
get
do.
them here.
Thank you for your support.
Anissa, excuse me, sorry, Sarah. One of the things that I caught right off the beginning of the presentation is that we've been very flat on our sales tax for this year and last year. And when we look at our revenue achievements, I mean, we're looking at 17s basically across the board, and a lot of our returns for what do we got? TRT,
Our
leased
tourism
vehicle,
taxes.
all of our tourism taxes. So to me, that indicates we're right on target as far as our marketing, who we're looking at, getting them to come here. Whereas the rest of the market is flat, the marketing that we're doing is hitting the goals and achieving the returns that we've been looking for. So a great job.
Thank you.
That sales tax number is a statewide trend as well, isn't it? We heard that this morning.
Yeah, we heard that this morning. And you know, tourism numbers across the state are great. I mean, we owe a great deal of gratitude to the state, the Utah Office of Tourism, for all of their marketing efforts and bringing all of the people they do into the community, or into the state. And then it's our job to make sure they visit our community while they're here. But as economic certainty, you know, continues, people travel more, and it's great for our economy.
I know that there's, we also heard this morning, there's an awful lot of pressure on some of the state parks because of I think there's a lot of reasons, but I think the success of the Mighty Five campaign has probably played into that quite a bit.
So
Are we seeing the same type of pressure on our county?
So what the pressure has actually been on the national parks, not so much the state parks. As you heard this morning, Zion and Arches have finally gotten to a point where they've had to, turn people away because they're too full. So they're dealing with those issues and how to handle that the most effectively. But what the intent now is to help spread the people that are coming out. And, you know, our job, because obviously all of the national parks are located in the southern part of the state, is to make sure that those visitors are also aware of what the northern part of the state has to offer. The Utah Office of Tourism will be focusing on state parks this year. They're calling it kind of Mighty Five 2.0, the Great American Road Trip. So in addition to using the Mighty Five as kind of that anchor tenant to draw people in, they'll be promoting all of the stops along the way. The state,
Or what, 15 years ago or something like that. I'm hoping that we find a way to, I mean, that's a hidden gem. People don't see it very often. The Fort, obviously North Fork Park is extremely valuable as well, but do you see pressure on those coming?
I think
in
if
the
you
future
take
as
a
well?
look at it, a lot of what's attractive about the national parks and the state parks is the recreational opportunities that are also provided within them, which we obviously have a lot of, even if they don't have a state or national park designation. And I think if you look around both from our visitors and our locals, we see more and more use of our recreational facilities. And that's one of the reasons why we're looking to some of these new opportunities that we've been working on with development up at North Fork Park, with bringing in some of these other, events that take place in off-peak seasons like Fat Bike National Championships, Snowshoe National Championships that still utilize our trails and our recreational assets, but in off-peak times. And then looking to develop things like the cyclocross course and some other opportunities that help spread that out and allow people plenty of opportunities to recreate.
So I was visiting in a meeting yesterday talking about parks in our valley up there in Pineview and area. The growth in Pineview of people coming up there has just been phenomenal. There's just tons of people coming up there in the summer, and they attribute part of that when Willard Bay was shut down. People had to go up there. Well, they liked it up there and they've stayed. And working through a lot of those issues there, they're finding as Pineview becomes really full, then they're moving up to Causey. So now we have the same issues we're starting to have up at Causey that we've had down in Pineview. Our parks up there, the county has 2 parks up there that got some great camping, a lot of good things happening. We need to know that in the wintertime that Nordic is amazing what they do at the North Fork Park. They have some fat bikes, they have snowshoeing, skiing. Last year, not a lot because we didn't have enough snow, but we're all
It's going to be a better year this year.
Absolutely, it already is a better year this year. So anyway, I think that it's important to know that because our parks, it's a little unusual for counties to have parks, and we have 3 really nice parks in our county. And so it's great to have the people out there and using them. So.
And that's part of these destination development initiatives too. Not only is it developing more assets, but it's having the foresight to make sure we're managing the ones we have appropriately to make sure the experience is continually where we need it to be.
So will we be in the state marketing plan when they do for the state parks? Will they put our county parks in it too, or is it just going to be state parks only?
The way that the marketing plan is written is, again, they're calling it Mighty Five 2.0, the Great American Road Trip, and it is focusing on the southern part of the state in the print and commercial pieces because there's just such a limited window to get the information out. But in the, on social, on the website, in trade show collateral that's presented, we make sure they have all the information so that people can create their itinerary and include our area in that.
Well, you know someone on that board you could talk to if you needed to.
I do happen to, yeah.
Would be her. Thank you, Sarah.
Is that it?
We do have, this is something that we do every year by design so that we have the opportunity to have this discussion and presentation from Sarah. There's no action required on this particular subject, and so it's one of those things that if you have any further questions or comments, feel free to ask or make those at this time. Otherwise, we'll move on. Sure, anything? Good. Okay. Sarah, thank you. Appreciate your efforts over there, and hope you'll pass on our gratitude to your team. We enjoy working with them very much. Okay. All right, we'll move on to our next item. This is probably the only reason that Rod Layton came. He didn't come just to say hi.
Oh, he didn't?
Request for approval of a contract by and between Weber County and the State of Utah Attorney General's Office. He forgot to show up last week, and so we skipped it.
I'm gonna explain
Oh,
it.
yeah.
We just skipped it.
Actually, what happened with that is I sent my paperwork to the interoffice mail, and I questioned the efficiency of Weber County's interoffice mail system.
That was your mistake.
That was my
right
mistake.
there.
I'll never do that again.
do
I
it.
said, there's no way I made it to the agenda, and I did. So I've apologized to Dave Wilson about it already. So The other first order of business, though, is Commissioner Gibson. Did you get your T-shirt from the motorcycle ride?
I don't remember that I did.
Yeah, well, I have. Can I approach the bench?
Absolutely, bring it on up.
Really?
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, Rodney. Uh-huh.
Wait, I gotta show it off.
The Sheriff's Office CJC motorcycle ride. Yeah, July.
That looks like a schmedium.
Commissioners, the other two commissioners need to get motorcycles, and that's it'll fit. If it don't, come back. I'll give you a bigger one or a smaller one.
You might not understand this, but I look really good on a Harley.
You do.
Yeah, he looks good, and he always shows up.
With your wife on the back, you look fabulous.
Okay, to this business. How the CJCs work very quickly. I don't want to take a lot of time here, but there's 23 CJCs throughout the state. That budget actually goes through the AG's office, Attorney General's office. We approached the legislature a few years ago about having rollover that takes place. Since our budget is based on cases, our budget fluctuates all the time. We never know quite how much money we're going to get or how much money we're not going to get. So we approached the legislature and said, is there a way that we can roll that money over at the end of the fiscal year and then redistribute it to centers that were short because we had more cases? And that's exactly what happened here. So we always, sometimes we get this, sometimes we don't, but this year we were awarded $15,968 rollover dollars that other centers didn't use. And so I said, I want it, and they gave it to me. And there will be actually a little bit more coming, but the AG's office doesn't like to give it to you all at once. They want to make sure that it all balances out first. But since we had an increase in cases, we were able to get those rollover dollars that come from other centers that didn't use it. So that's all this
Hope
is.
you don't get too used to that pattern.
Yeah, it's normally.
Where if you want it, they actually give it to you.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we're expecting that ball to drop any day. But for now, it works, and it has to kind of work that way because we just don't know about our cases until we get right to the end of that fiscal year, and then you see where you're at, and it could change 100 cases at a time, and then you're kind of. So you got to have this built in a little bit, and so far the legislators haven't messed with us too much on that, but we'll see. So that's all, unless you have questions on it. That's, I expect, we asked for another 5,000 on that rollover, but I don't know if that'll happen or not. So if it does, I'll do another amendment and I'll come back.
What's that contract number? 404. I'll make a motion to accept contract 404 between Weber County and the State of Utah Attorney General's Office for a CJC contract.
Second.
Okay, motion and second that we approve contract number 404 between the state of Utah and between Weber County and the Attorney General's office. Discussion of that motion? Okay, seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, any opposed? Passes. Thanks, Rod. Come
Thank
back
you.
anytime.
I will.
Okay.
See you next year.
No, we're gonna see him before that. All right, Commissioner Ebert, this one's all yours. It's the request for approval of resolution of the County Commissioners, Weber County, forming the Weber County Cultural and Arts Council.
So presently, we have a Weber County Arts Council. They do a fabulous job. They work a lot in the arts community. We have a specific need with the county in reference to ramp and maybe some smaller arts requests. And the way that we can address that is by creating a arts council that's specific to the Weber County, and that's the purpose of it. Is there anything, Shelley, that you'd like to add to that?
From, in contrast to something smaller or more specific, this is more of a regional.
Yeah,
For the
you know, we have some specific needs from a county perspective, kind of like some of the cities have their own cultural and arts committees that meet their specific needs, and we have a specific need from the county as a whole, and then also from a county perspective, specific to ramp and some other things. So it allows us to be a little more nimble in addressing our specific needs, and then again, we'll work with the other arts council to address any other needs that are out there.
So does every city have an arts council?
You know, not every city does, but a lot of them do. A lot of your larger cities will have their own arts councils.
Could they apply for those grants and things under our Arts Council, or is it just for unincorporated Weber County?
Yeah, so right now, some of that is ran through the Weber Arts, Cultural and Arts Council. Eventually, that would be a possibility if it would be more efficient or effective, but we'll work with that with the council we presently have.
Because I think that's a good point, Commissioner, that we ought to, we're always looking at ways that we can help facilitate a process, especially for some of our smaller municipalities. We don't have any desire to to have any kind of turf.
Correct.
What we're trying to do is
To
facilitate
meet a need,
process,
really.
meet a need that makes sense for a lot of the maybe some of these residents or municipalities that don't have the ability to do it on their own.
So if a community where they're not even where they're an unincorporated area and they wanted to do something at their little Bowery or something, some arts, they could probably put in a grant through this and a possibility to get it. Because I know in the past there hasn't been a way to be able to help these little communities do that.
So there's different avenues for different requests and applications. Specific to the county, we don't have an avenue, and we want to create our Arts Council to
Great.
meet that need. Now, eventually, there's a possibility that other cities or smaller communities or unincorporated could do those types of applications also. Some of those applications are ran through the present Arts Council.
Great. Thank you.
All right, any other questions, comments? Okay, motion?
What's resolution number? 46. I'll make a motion we accept resolution number 46, creating the Weber County Cultural and Arts Council.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second. Discussion of that motion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oh, that's a res, we'll have a roll call. Sorry, go ahead.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Just along with what you were mentioning, Commissioner Bell, I wanted to point out, I pointed this out earlier to Sarah this morning, but I just think it's important for us to recognize contributions of all of our communities and in everything that we do, and help them to feel at the table and a part of a meaningful voice. And we were at a chamber meeting this morning, and they passed out the chamber priority list. Very well thought out and extremely well done. I'm really impressed with the new CEO of the Chamber of Commerce.
Absolutely.
Chuck Linhart. He's just doing a tremendous job. But one of the things that I just really appreciated was on the back of this, it says, "We proudly represent businesses in the following cities and unincorporated areas of Weber County." And then it lists a whole bunch of different, I think probably all of the communities, even the ones that are unincorporated, that are a small town like Eden, Liberty, West Weber, Warren. And I just thought to myself, that's cool, because I can't tell you when the last time West Weber was mentioned as anybody who mattered to a Chamber of Commerce. I just think that is really neat, and I think you feel similar thoughts up in some of the areas in the valley and some other areas. And I just think that it's important anytime we can to offer an opportunity for people's voices to be heard, so that they can be a part of the process. You just always get a better reception and better outcome when there's diversity at the table. So anyway, I thought that was neat, and I hope it kind of goes along with what we were talking about. So, okay, we'll move along then. Thank you, Commissioner, for sharing
Just
that with me.
make note, it's even got Reese on here. And they have mosquito days in July if you haven't ever been there. They have a great little parade and great hamburgers.
Yes, they do.
Hi, Sheriff. Sheriff's probably been to it more than once. We even shut down the whole street for 15 minutes.
For the parade.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Good stuff. All right, to our item number 4, request for consideration and/or action on a final approval of the Summit at Ski Lake, number 13, 5 lots at 6645 Claritina Court, which is a private street, including a financial guarantee for subdivision improvements. in the amount of $297,936.32. This approval also includes the approval of the county surveyor monumentation improvement agreement. Jim?
Yes, thank you. This is final approval of the Summit at Ski Lake Phase 13. This is the final phase of that development, and it's comes with a unanimous recommendation from the Planning Commission for final approval.
Okay. Final, and that was just recently in Planning Commission within the last couple months.
Yes.
I'm familiar with this project. They've been working on it for, I don't know when it started, but a lot of years ago.
Yeah, about 1996.
Really?
Not to
Well,
con-
this phase, or this,
Right.
this big area, but
the Summit at Ski Lake, not to be confused with Summit that we hear a lot about as well, so just make sure that people understand that. Okay, any other questions on this particular action item?
Is it just a motion you want, Fatima? I'll make a motion, we give final approval for a Summit at Ski Lake, number 13, 5 lots, 6646 Clarientina Court, a private street.
Second.
Motion and second to approve this item for final approval. Is there discussion to the motion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? It passes. Thank you, Jim. And Chris, if you'll work your way up, the final item here before our public hearing is the request for approval of a final reading of an ordinance, Weber County amending certain provisions of the special events application process.
Good morning, Commissioners. This is a request for a second and final reading of ordinance modifying application procedures for our special events permit applications. The change that we are requesting is the location that individuals may receive applications for special events, and that would be moved to the special events office in the Golden Spike Arena, and then also providing online access for people to also receive those documents.
This is phenomenal that we're doing this. Special events have become a lot of what we do in Weber County now. We do them, I don't know, Sarah, how many we do a lot. And we've streamlined some things because we want it to be friendly when people come in to do it. We don't want them to have to go to 5 different locations and try to get this person to sign and this person and this. We bring it into one-stop shopping, and I think this has been a great move, and I appreciate your effort you've taken on this, and it should be really helpful for our folks.
If I could add really quickly, for those of you who have not been made aware, we are in the process of creating a new website, which will hopefully go live sometime this week. And a big focus of that website is to allow for public access electronically to many of the services that are required here in this facility, so that you can take care of that type of business at home or at your work or at business, not only to do the application process, but many times to receive back whatever documentation you're looking for. And so again, this is part of an overarching organizational structure and service-oriented community we're trying to provide. And so I appreciate the time and effort that's been put into this. And again, this is just part of our overall mission and plan.
Okay, thanks for bringing this to us, Chris.
Thank you.
You'll pass on to our folks how appreciative we are. I think that makes sense to have that out at the Spike where there's a lot of those events happening to begin with and some capacity there on staff, so we appreciate that.
I will pass that on.
Okay, all right, motion then?
So
Ordinance number?
I'll make a motion that we adopt ordinance 18, amending certain provisions of the special events application process, up to and including what was outlined by Mr. Crockett.
I second it.
Okay, we do have a motion and a second then to approve this ordinance number 18. Is there further discussion to the motion? Okay, seeing none, roll call vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes unanimously. Okay, we'll move to our next item, which is our public hearing. So I need a motion to adjourn that public meeting and convene a public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? It passes. And next item is the public hearing to supply information regarding the 2016 Community Development Block Grant, or CDBG program, to solicit possible projects that may be eligible for the funds and field possible suggestions and questions about the projects from the citizens.
Good morning,
Chad,
Commissioners.
welcome. Good to see
How are
you.
you doing?
Good.
Good. If you could bear with me for just a moment, there are some requirements we need to make sure that are read during this, so I'm just going to read them and we'll go from there. So, this public hearing is being held to supply information regarding the 2016 Community Development Block Grant, or the CDBG program, to solicit possible projects that may be eligible for the funding and to field possible suggestions and questions about the projects from the citizens. The national objective is for grant money to primarily be spent to benefit low to moderate income persons, but other national objectives include using funds to aid in the prevention or elimination of slums or blight, and may also be used to meet urgent needs because existing conditions pose a serious or immediate threat to health and welfare. Eligible activities are identified in the CDBG application guide that is available for review by interested parties. Examples for possible CDBG projects activities include ADA improvements, public works infrastructure projects in areas that would qualify, property acquisition, public services such as food banks and homeless shelters, and loan programs for private businesses that hire low-income persons or for persons who own rental housing and rent to low-income persons. This year, projects within the Wasatch Front Regional will compete between Weber, Morgan, and Twila counties and can expect approximately $1 million in CDBG funds for 2016. Projects will be rated by a regional review committee made up of an elected official and a staff member from each county to determine what projects can proceed with final application. All pre-applications must be submitted to the Wasatch Front Regional Council by January 29, 2016. The unincorporated county does not currently have any active projects. The county as a whole has sponsored the Weber Housing Authority in a project that offers incentives for first-time home buyers. In the past, Weber County has received grants for modifications of restrooms for the Weber County Library to bring them more in compliance with ADA standards, and an emergency housing rehabilitation project that is administered through the Weber Housing Authority, developing ADA-compliant campsites, installing ADA-compliant door hardware at the fairgrounds, installing storm drains in low to moderate income communities to reduce flooding, installing wheelchair ramps at street intersections to make pedestrian sidewalks more accessible, as well as sponsoring nonprofit agencies such as Your Community Connection, Ogden Weber Community Action Agency, and Catholic Community Services, and others. All possible projects in which funding may be applied for are indicated in the Regional Consolidated Plan and is available for review in the Weber County Planning Office. I was not contacted by any nonprofit agencies who are the CDBG How to Apply workshop that would like the county to sponsor them and want to submit a pre-application for a grant. Possible projects for the 2016 funding year. There are some possible AD upgrades that we can do here to some of the county facilities that we're looking into and see if they will qualify. And the Weber Housing Authority is looking at a project, and Andy Beatles is here to kind of give you an idea of what that project might be. So we'll let her come up and explain that.
It's a little tricky. Sometimes I forget. So the Weber Housing Authority is interested in developing a complex for homeless disabled individuals. The project will be located outside of Ogden in Weber County. We're looking at developing 24 to 30 units, and it will be a three-way partnership between the Weber Housing Authority, Weber Human Services, and then a private property management company. So we're looking at land acquisition for the project.
And when you say homeless, I think there's a specific category of homeless that we kind of zeroed in on. Can you?
Mm-hmm. So we're looking at individuals that have a disabling condition but are currently homeless, so not chronically homeless. Is that what you're looking at? So individuals that are chronically homeless have been homeless for 1 year or longer, or have had 4 episodes of homelessness in the last 3 years. We have sufficient programs, we feel like, in Weber County to address that population, but there isn't currently housing available specifically for just homeless individuals that are in situationally homeless situations. So we're looking at taking them out of the shelter, housing them for a short period of time, getting them stabilized, and then getting them housed in a more permanent setting.
Kind of a quick rundown, and I appreciate it, but it's been a long process, hasn't it, Commissioner? And something you've discussed for a while?
Yeah,
on that board?
yes, sir. And I just cannot express my appreciation for Andy, who the first day I sat in that board and started talking about some of the things, looked at me like I was crazy. But she jumped on board. She went to training. She's become, in my opinion, almost an expert in what we're asking her to do. Has taken on a tremendous amount of responsibility, learned a tremendous amount, and now is the go-to on what we're trying to accomplish, which is a housing authority that actually provides an opportunity to house individuals and then to surround them with support services to reduce the recidivism in homelessness and to get them back on their feet, become productive. So my hat's off to her, and her presenting this is just a huge step in addressing our homeless issues, and then also into addressing our future resolution to low-income and moderate-income issues we have here within the county. So this is the first step in a very detailed plan, and thank you very much, Andy.
Thank you.
Okay, there's the presentation there. So now we are in the public hearing. So if there's anyone from the public who would like to comment on this particular item, now would be the time to come to the microphone, state your name for the record, and tell us what you think. Okay, looks like there are none on this particular issue, so we'll move to item number 3, the public hearing to amend the Weber County Land Use Code, Title 104, Zones, Chapter 11, Commercial Valley Resort Recreation Zone, Section 4, Conditional Uses by adding brew pub and reception and banquet facilities as conditional uses. Weber County Land Use Code Title 101, Section 101-77 is also being amended by adding a definition for brew pub. Jim, good to see you again.
Could I just, Andy, don't run off. I'd like to talk to you right after this meeting, if you don't mind. Thank you. Sorry, Jim.
No, you're fine. Yeah, we're looking at amending the Weber County Land Use Code, the CVR 1, the Commercial Valley Resort Recreation Zone is a zone within the Ogden Valley. And we have an applicant who's petitioned to add a couple more uses to that zone. The recreation and banquet facility and a brew pub, which is a restaurant that has a brewery as part of it. This did go to the Ogden Valley Planning Commission. They did recommend unanimously that it is approved. And we had residents from Wolf Creek who were there in support of that amendment to the zoning ordinance. And the applicant is here if you have any questions as well.
Okay, thank you. If the applicant would like to come forward, they're certainly welcome.
So I got a question, Jim, maybe for you, if the applicant doesn't, when he gets done, I do got a question or two for you.
Just stay close, Jim. You don't have to come up unless you want, but you're welcome to. Looked like there was a little hesitation as to whether or not you were.
Let me just take this opportunity to say hello.
Hello.
Eric Householder
Hello.
with Wolf Creek. I mean, truly, I think Jim's outlined kind of what we're trying to do here, just add some uses to some zoning we've put in place. So unless you have any specific questions for me.
Now
I
would be
do
a good
for
time.
Jim maybe, but I don't think, anyway. Hey, my question is twofold. So, do you know how many gallons of beer you can produce a year under this ordinance? 155,000. I got it right here.
Yeah.
My question is, and then it can only be 30% of your sales.
Right.
Who in the heck from Weber County is going to go up and count every bottle of beer you sell and go up and count what you're selling? I know we'll get your sales because of the sales tax. Are we, Jim, it was only for Jim, why would we require this? Do we care how much beer he sells?
Well, it's also regulated by the state as well.
So the state says he can only sell 155.
It's, the amount of
1,000 gallons.
Gallons that are produced and stuff like that is also regulated by the state. So you will have to get licenses and everything through the state. We didn't want, the primary thing to be a retail operation, but as more as a restaurant that has the opportunity to have some floor space to sell. So it's not the primary thing, but the rest of it, or the restaurant is.
So,
Becomes more commercial.
okay.
Yes,
Probably meeting the need that the applicant has requested. That's probably why
yes.
falling in these categories.
So the applicant wanted those restrictions on them?
Well,
That's probably the category. That's probably the category they fall in.
Okay, well, if it's state requiring us to do it because of state law, then great. But if the state doesn't require us to do that, if we're adding things on just to have more paperwork, I'm concerned.
And most of the CVR zones are fairly small up there. So, you know, you're not gonna be doing a big operation like, you know, Roosters
Okay.
on 25th Street or some of the other big operations.
Okay, just make sure you don't have your 155,000 gallons done by November, because you may not have any in December.
well, sure, you know, and we're trying to get the use in place today. You know, we
Right.
don't have a tenant right now. I can't tell you specifically what that person would like
Right.
to do. You know, our hope was to, you know, try to limit the restrictions if we could, you know, and I think Jim spent a lot of time looking at other ordinances, other places, and felt like this was appropriate. And
Okay.
maybe if we feel like it's not, we could get back in front of you and
Great.
kind of see where we're at.
We appreciate what you do up there. You do a great job in your resort up there. Thank you. Great,
Thank you.
great folks.
Okay. Are there any others from the public who would like to comment then on this particular ordinance? Okay. Seeing none, we'll move then to our next item, which is that we take a motion to adjourn the public hearing and reconvene the public meeting.
So moved.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion is second then. We're, all in favor, say aye.
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 We're back in the public meeting. So back in our public meeting now, we have the ability or the option to take action on these two items. We'll start with the item number 2, which was to proceed with the applications to the CDBG program. Commissioners, would you like to take action on this particular item?
Well, I'll make a motion that we approve the applicants that have put in for the CDBG grant.
I second that.
Okay, motion and a second before us. Is there further discussion? Seeing none, then all in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Passes. And item number 3 under our public hearing was the change to the ordinance, the land use code, title 104. Is there any questions or comments or motion on that one?
I'll make a motion that we change the code in code 101 for a brew pub.
19, right?
Brew
Ordinance
pub.
number 19.
Oh, 19, ordinance number 19, and they can do 424 gallons a day. I just figured that out for you. I like numbers, okay?
I'll second the motion as read and as stated.
Really, you just validated that. All right, motion and a second that we approve the ordinance number 19 as presented before us. Is there any further discussion to that motion? Okay, seeing none, roll call vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, the motion passes unanimously. Thank you. All right, to our final item, the public comment. Is there any from the public who would like to comment today? Okay, seeing none, we'll move to our final item on the agenda, item J, which is the assignment of the Pledge of Allegiance and the thought of the day. Pledge of Allegiance, anybody like to volunteer? Well, I've got a captive audience here. I don't know, I was gonna kind of pick on Merwin, but I don't know if he's coming back next week or not. Sylvia did it this week. We've got to give her a break. Rod probably won't come back and see us. Sheriff, thank you. Appreciate that. Appreciate you volunteering. We're always happy when you're in our meetings. I always feel a little safer. So Sheriff Thompson will give lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. We'll assign the thought of the day, and that takes us to our final.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
I second.
Okay, all in favor say aye. We're adjourned. Happy December.
Matthew.
We're there.